Hey, Eric.
Hello, Christopher.
The numbers have been crunching, and the patrons have been voting at patreon.com/retroam to determine the next season of Retrograde Amnesia. That would be the 8th season, the 16-bit season.
How many ways can you divide 16 bits?
16. 1 bit each.
One per bit. That's
Yes,
right. One
yes.
bit per game.
Yes, exactly. And we decided, editorially and also at the behest of the RealNet, to slide the Squaresoft big boys out into the distance and maybe bring those guys back in at another time, because we figured if we put Chrono Trigger and or a Final Fantasy on the poll, it would just win, right?
Yes. You generally want them to stay off the poll.
Yes. However, we want to cover those games one day, but now is not the time.
Right.
We've done a lot of Squaresoft games. We're ready to get into some slightly deeper cuts. These aren't deep cuts, but slightly deeper cuts.
I say, to get a true deep cut, you have to get something no one would vote for.
Yes.
We're not going to do that.
And it turns out that was a great decision by us, the hosts of the podcast, and the RealNet, the supporters of the podcast, because the first round of voting was one of our closest elections ever, with Breath of Fire 2, Earthbound, and Phantasy Star 4 battling it out to make it to the runoff. Lufia 2 was left in the dust.
Something we didn't necessarily reference is Earthbound is the last remaining game from our Season 2 poll not to be elected to a full season or a mini-season.
Yes. And ironically enough, the Earthbound and Phantasy Star 4, another game that's been on many of our polls throughout the years, were the two games that made it to the final runoff. The final runoff is currently raging out there at patreon.com/retroam in the past of when you're hearing this, but in the present if you're hearing this live, with Phantasy Star 4 out to a 6-point lead over Earthbound, a huge upset brewing with 195 votes in. I would expect at least 50 to 100 more votes to come in before this thing is closed. So anybody's game, but Phantasy Star 4 is off to the races, as they say here in the Commonwealth. Hopefully some people are happy with this. Would you like to be happy with some hot sounds?
Every day.
Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast covering classic Japanese role-playing games, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. Welcome back to Season 7, where we are covering Lunar, the Silver Star story. This is episode 32. My name's Chris. I'm joined by Eric. Hi.
Beaterator.
Beater-iter, eggerator, kegerator. We're also joined by the RealNet, a collective of maids of milking who are watching us record this podcast live on a secret video feed at patreon.com/retroam. Go there and join us.
What's a milkmaid? Is that the breastfeeding but not your kid type thing?
No, I think you're thinking of a wet nurse.
Well, what's a milkmaid?
I think they just...
for cows?
They milk the cows.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Fake net, what's a milkmaid?
Initializing fake net.
A girl or woman who milks cows or does other work in a dairy, you weird pervert. Somebody find Eric's browser history. Christ.
We're also joined by the Fake Net, our post-production guy companion who got the legendary third big box with Ark the Lad collection on PS1.
Initializing fake net.
It was 3 games for the price of 1. You can't beat that.
Be a record for fake net summons right there.
Right in the beginning. Did you get the big box for Ark the Lad, or did you just got Lunar 2, then you're like, I'm out. It's 2003. I'm only buying PS2 games now.
That's probably what happened, yeah. It was like for budgetary reasons, I did not buy Ark the Lad collection, although I was very interested in it because I love them sprites, but... The new tech of the PS2 was too, I had to get I had to get my Dynasty Warriors 2 on and my Armored Core 2.
And that Dragon Quest 7, the most advanced of games to come out after the PS2.
Yeah, you could say that.
World map, I heal my shit at the shrine, then I head to Reza to see if anything has changed.
Hold on a minute.
What?
You didn't take a bath?
I don't have any soap. How can I clean myself without any soap?
Oh man, I went back into the boys' bathroom because I've got more soap. Well...
The bathroom is the forest, sir. We've been taking shits all the time.
That's true. I wanted to see if the remaster toned down...
Additional censorship?
The butt content.
Sparkles over butt crack?
Yes. So I went there to purify myself in the lake of Althena.
You also have the other bath scene to describe, too. I know because I captured the sounds for it this morning.
Yes, but now I got the second bath scene, and I wanted to see if there was going to be some Nash butt. And guess what? Once I put my soap into the water, I go into the bath scene, and the camera slowly pans up over some supple legs, and we see Nash's butt as he says, "Erg." and holds a mirror to his face while Null watches on. So yes,
Travel mirror.
Nash butt crack confirmed. We get to see the boy's butt. They'll only blank out Kyle's butt. I don't know. I guess because it's hairier. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You said soap and water, and that was basically an activation phrase for me because that is the second set of lyrics for DJ Assault's song Ass and Titties.
Yes, I'm familiar with such things. So how many people on the internet would have been mad if they would have censored Nash's butt? That's my question for you.
Fewer than would have been mad if they censored anything in the ladies' spring.
Very true. So we'll have to see what happens there, but I doubt they did. I think Nash is the most nude in this game.
In the Gran Turismo games, I think you can take your car, I don't know if you can still do this, in the first couple you could take your car to the car wash and clean it, and it would like make it shinier. Do you think you're going to take your Nash and your Kyle here all the time to clean them to make them shinier?
I don't suspect I will come back to the boys' bath.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
You're not gonna. How many pieces of soap do you have right now? Did you blow all your soap? If you're playing the new game, you can't necessarily add more soap with the cheat codes.
Oh, is there a limited amount of soap?
There's a limited amount of soap in this video game. You could buy infinite when you're on the boat, I think, but you can't get back on that boat.
Oh.
So Chris doesn't have any more soap. He's not going to get to see the preteen girls take baths.
Well.
Ho, Chris.
I'll keep myself out of jail then.
So we're on the world map?
Yeah.
We're going to Reza. Do you know what's changed in Reza, Chris?
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
God, thank God.
And as you know, we do not have our dragon wings, so I can't take us on a world tour again just yet.
I'm so happy.
On Sega CD, the party gets to Damon's Spire by crossing a large body of water on the back of a huge sea turtle. But in PS1, I walk south and go to Damon's Spire. You ready to go there?
I'm very curious as we enter Damon's Spire if we're going
to feel inspired.
To learn anything concrete about this magical tower bullshit place?
No, I don't think we're learning about the tower. I think Damon is the keeper of knowledge of the world. Like, he is going to be a lore device for everything. All the questions we have about how does the world economy work? What happened before the four heroes? How long can dragons be alive? Damon, in this tower of books and knowledge, is going to have every answer that we seek.
Those are the things that I want to know, and I want to know a little bit more about the mechanics of this world, because a lot of it has been, I don't know if hand waves is not the right word, but a lot of it has been explained just by Althena.
Althena, or don't worry about it. You don't need to know that, kid.
Yeah. Why is Damon in his tower? Why does he have this knowledge?
Oh, dude, I would love to live in a tower by myself with books.
And knowledge?
Yeah.
What if you had the responsibility of keeping all the knowledge?
I would read for an hour every day and read like a knowledge retention guide.
And you'd have to have monsters too. You have to feed the monsters.
Well, yeah, you don't want any just broke people trying to get knowledge without having to work for it. You must work for your knowledge.
That's very true, actually.
Music, Silent Place plays, and this place is an emerald silver color, red tiles on the ground. Fuck, dude. I take one step forward and a guy beams in.
Yeah.
It's a wizard.
His name?
Damon.
It's Damon. He has granted you the privilege to tread within these sacred walls.
Those who seek the guardian of knowledge must have a special knowledge first. What is that knowledge, Chris? Null procures it. It's a wizard. It's Damon. He says those who seek the guardian of knowledge must have special knowledge first. Null has that knowledge. He thinks Damon might be talking about something in the notebook that we won from the drunk. Mia asks for a moment to get the shit, and then Mia presents it and remixes the Mortal Kombat 3 intro screen.
Intelligence is the ultimate strength, and wisdom is the ultimate power.
And what did Mortal Kombat 3 say, Chris? There is no knowledge that is not power.
There is no knowledge that is not power.
This is the video game lesson.
And it is the video game lesson.
It's either something about war changing or not changing, or this.
Or don't do drugs.
Well, that was more or less the government's insistence. Video games did not care if we did drugs. Unless you were playing N.A.R.C.
N.A.R.C. definitely cared. Yeah, N.A.R.C. cared a lot, because if you do drugs, you're going to be killed.
No, you can bust people. In N.A.R.C., you can send them to jail instead of kill them. Me and my cousin used to do no death runs. It's fucking impossible.
Oh, I thought no kill runs were originated with Metal Gear.
No, it was N.A.R.C.
Damn.
On NES. You want to play some N.A.R.C.? Fuck the plans for Wizardry. Let's play some N.A.R.C.
We could play some N.A.R.C.
We'll play some N.A.R.C.
How about okay.
Wizard N.A.R.C.s?
How about we just do another stream sometime on Patreon where the theme is drugs games.
Okay, yeah. We'll play that one Battlefield where you're the cops.
We'll play the weed selling game on the TI-81.
There's a new weed selling game out called Schedule 1. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, it looks kind of fun.
Yeah, it looks all right.
All right.
Fucking TI-81. You know what the weed selling game was called? It was called Grow.
It was called Grow?
Yeah, because
wow.
you could grow weed and then sell it.
Cool.
Like all good high schoolers. Well, it works. Damon tells us, you possess the cornerstone which can become the foundation. What? You may enter. Step onto the tiles of red to unlock the door and gain entrance.
I love gaining entrance. It's better than just going in.
Are you satisfied with Damon speaking in strange metaphors, or you wish he was just more upfront, like smoking a cigarette, being like, yeah, I'm at the top, you fucking place is full of monsters, just clear this out, get me up there, come on, man.
It brings me back to season 1 of this podcast when you were hoping that Fei Fong Wong would just grab Choo Choo and say, what the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I want somebody to do that to Damon.
But if you're right, that would happen, but then again, if Choo Choo gave us straight answers, we'd have never stumbled into the Choo Choo orgy. Like, it is only that lack of knowledge which produced that content.
So you're saying we're going to...
A Damon orgy.
A wizard orgy?
Oh, man, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's the secret third bath. That's the wizard orgy bath.
Okay. Well, we're in here now, and there's suits of armor everywhere.
Candlelit walls with the Lunar lettering and an eye patch guy walking around.
Also, eye patch guy. He says, judging from the outside, this place is at least 6 stories tall. But where are the stairs? What the fuck is going on? I'm not going to let these goons beat me to the top and take my treasure away. Well, it's technically not mine until I steal it, but you know what I mean.
So we're full of thieves here as well?
Stealing whatever is in here gives you access to the Thieves Guild, which would say to me that no one has joined the Thieves Guild in 100 years.
So they're trying to get into the Thieves Guild. They're not trying to break into the library to take the secret books.
No, they don't give a shit about the books.
Okay. I step on Twitches and open doors. I find another guy here wearing a purple shirt, and he's got suspenders. He says, what do you think Damon's treasure looks like? Oh, I can't wait to see it and touch it and love it.
He wants to touch it and love it.
That's right. Kyle tells this guy, hey, I know how exciting it can be to steal, buddy, but it's not that exciting. Jessica chimes in, I don't know, Kyle. I've seen you get pretty excited after stealing a kiss from me.
Oh, man, that's okay.
What is stealing a kiss? Is that kissing a lady without her knowing it?
Stealing? I think it is. I think that would be considered assault. Sexual assault.
FakeNet, is stealing a kiss sexual assault?
Initializing FakeNet.
Stealing a kiss is kissing a person without consent. As a reminder, as men of good decorum, you should know that acts, such as people touching, fondling, or kissing others without their permission, are sexual assaults.
Okay.
In that context, Kyle has sexually assaulted Jessica.
But I mean, if it's a playful thing when there is implied
consent is a tricky one as well.
Yeah, it is a tricky one. If you're in a committed relationship where that is part of your rapport, then maybe. But otherwise, I'm just going to let the FakeNet answer this because I don't know what I'm talking about.
While it's possible Kyle stealing a kiss from Jessica was a playful act, you still shouldn't do that.
Chris is getting in deep shit.
Yep.
Forcing someone to stand in deep shit could be considered regular assault.
The guy continues, oh, I just can't wait to see what a fabulous treasure Damon is hoarding. I'm warm and sweaty and tingly.
Well, they didn't wipe the victor out of this line in the remaster.
There's an empty chest in here. Did you talk to the Ramus hater in the top right? Not the Ramus hater, but the guy who's dressed similarly in his sprite form.
He says, the Thieves Guild has never been able to plunder Damon's Spire, and that's why the boss sent us here.
So, just based on that alone, this isn't the admission to get the Thieves' Crest. This is the next current quest to be admitted to the Thieves Guild. It's like an escalating series of what needs to be done.
The quests rotate,
right?
So if they once somebody gets this, they're gonna have then they're gonna have somebody steal soap from the boat.
Galleon's earrings.
Yes. Okay. He says we're the best of the best. If anyone can loot this joint, it's us. So make sure you stay out of our way. We've had 2 sets of NPCs, one in the Cave of Trials, and then these guys here who are on the same quest as us, but all they're doing is walking in circles.
Yeah, and they're fucking it up. They don't have the bravery that we do. He continues.
If Damon gathered all the world's knowledge, I'm sure he gathered some of the world's treasure in the process.
There is no knowledge that is not also treasure.
Yes.
Bottom left guy in green pants, he says, bloody hell, whoever build, spelled wrong, this blasted spire forgot to put in the stairs. Bollocks, I say bollocks. I feel like a bloody wanker walking around in circles like this. I was well chuffed when I noticed the red tiles on the floor make a strange noise when you step on them, but I seem to be the only one who gives a toss about it. Chris, is this our first British NPC?
It is our first British. Are British guys considered drunk guys? I don't think so. I think that would be American guys.
Bollocks, chuffed, gives a toss. These are all things British people exclusively say.
Yes. And by the way, they did not... I'm going to stop doing this from now on.
Stop it. Stop doing this.
But they did not correct the typo of build.
Of build? Really?
Yes.
See, that's the kind of shit that I'm so in the new remixed PS4 version, build is still build and not build.
Yes, but I have noticed they have corrected some typos. Remember when Zenobia misgendered Kyle?
Didn't misgender. She blew his cover early.
Properly gendered Kyle before Zenobia actually knew that Kyle was misgendering himself.
Right.
They corrected that pronoun.
Right.
In the remaster, but not that.
But that makes me wonder, who gave this a once-over and how, are we going through this at a more curious and calm and comprehensive pace than the people who were in charge of relocalizing this thing or brushing up the additional localization?
Yeah.
I think we are. Because I would have there's multiple things like this that I'm typing not the guys that talk fucked up on purpose.
Yeah.
The stuff like this where they just...
Maybe whoever localized this thought that British people don't use the word build.
Were build and build.
I don't know.
That could be.
I just suspect.
Or they didn't have enough time or money to, you know what I mean? Like it could be a budget thing.
Yeah.
Well, I step on all the red tiles and I reach a door in the bottom left corner. Damon beams in.
Yes, he has granted us privilege to tread within these sacred walls. Thank you, Damon. However, if you wish to proceed any further, you must answer my question. What is the origin of our world created at the hand of Athena?
Oh, yeah. Lore. Fuck yeah.
I do love lore, and I also love pop quizzes when they're not at school.
That's right, when they're in the movie Speed.
And I'm a hotshot.
Pop quiz, asshole.
Kyle has a question of his own, though. He says, what the hell are you talking about, ya weirdo?
What the hell?
Hold on. He said weirdo in yours?
Ya weirdo.
He said weirdo in your PS4 version.
Yes.
He said fruitcake in mine.
Oh, okay, well...
Called Damon a fruitcake.
He called Damon a fruitcake.
He called Damon a fruitcake.
Fruitcake has slight homophobic connotation.
Yeah, it could it's not full homophobic, but it is implied homophobia if spoken aloud by a teenager in 1999.
I would say so, yeah. I remember my mom calling people fruitcakes in a non-homophobic way.
Yeah, it can mean like batty or nutty or like off your rocker type thing. But it was definitely mixed in, like Venn diagram 30% with gay in 1999.
Well, I'm glad we're going to be able to acknowledge at least half of these changes since the timing of the remaster came out.
Do you see that as like taking off Lunar's edge a little bit? Or is it just like get with the times type thing? We don't need to do that.
I don't see that as taking off Lunar's edge, because as we can see, like the spirit of the dialogue is still intact. However, I do believe that there is a subset of people on like fucking internet websites like Reddit.
Internetwebsite.com.
Yeah, because you do see, I go to the Lunar subreddit every now and then to see what people are talking about. And the things that people are talking about right now are things like this right now in a kind of a complainy way. Like they took the R word out of the remasters.
I bet that one had special attention. There's at least 3 instances, I think, in the game. Yes.
But some of these smaller instances, like no one said anything about taking out Send In the Clowns. No one said anything about that. So I think that people are just upset that they took out things that are kind of edgy.
I want to create an alt where I complain about taking out Send In the Clowns and see who's with me.
I want you to do that. I really do. I was
really a fan of this play. Not convinced he was about to ask himself something like that. Jessica shits in Nash's mouth. She says, shouldn't a brilliant student like you know the answer to this one, Nash? Nash hesitates, but says of course he knows. Null thinks Nash doesn't sound so sure and tries to pass it on to Mia, and we get a choice.
Yeah.
Nah, Nash says he can do it, or Mia, why don't you try? What'd you pick?
I picked Mia.
Oh, I asked Nash to do it.
Oh.
What did Mia say?
Well, Null says, good call, Alex. We're counting on you, Mia. Mia says, my mother spoke to me of this subject long ago. The answer is magic.
Just magic?
It's magic.
Plain?
Which is the worst lore answer ever.
Well, I don't know if Nash is too much better. Nash says, Alex, every once in a while I'm reminded of your great wisdom. I only wish others in our group appreciated your intellect. Nash looks around and then he replies, the answer is the Magic Guild.
Oh, the Magic Guild.
Now let us pass.
Okay. Does he count that as a correct answer?
No. Nothing happens. Jessica says, look at that. Nothing happened, but you'll manage to come out of this with your ego fully intact and inflated. Nash can't believe this shit. He says, it doesn't make any sense. Perhaps the old man didn't hear me clearly enough. I said, the Magic Guild. Nothing happens again, and Mia pipes up. Actually, your answer is incorrect, Nash. My mother spoke to me of this subject long ago. The answer is, Chris?
Magic.
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 Damon tells Mia she is correct. We may proceed. So you didn't get that additional, Nash fuck up dialogue?
Nash says, I knew you'd do it, Mia, and that's just what I would have said. But as we know from this podcast, that's not what he would have said.
No, parallel worlds are intact.
Of course, Null hits Nash with dots.
Yeah.
And Null never hits anybody with dots, but he does hit...
He always has something to say.
But in this case, Nash replies to the dots, why are you staring at me, cat? How dare you imply that an elite magician of the magic... ... Then, of course, Jessica chimes in and says, yada, yada, yada.
Seinfeld
reference. Yeah. Why don't we save the excuses until we have a chance to explore this place? Is that a scrotal? Or is yada, yada, yada too, incorporated into the...
It's hard to say, because now I think plenty of people say that having no idea it originated in Seinfeld. But I think, that was... I don't want to call it Seinfeld's main contribution to daily vernacular, but it got out there. It wasn't No Soup for You, where it was clearly, contextually appropriate in only a few situations. Okay. Yada, yada, yada became shorthand for I don't want to finish this sentence.
I'll allow it. All right, well, you ready to go up to the next floor?
Damon tells Mia she is correct. The door opens. Damon disappears. Mia apologizes, said she thought N.A.R.C. knew the answer. N.A.R.C. gets upset. Yeah, Cat, at least she was showing me the proper respect. Mia simply prefers not to boast her intelligence. Kyle knows you can't bullshit a bullshitter. He says, too bad you can't be that way, butt brain. Nash wonders, what's that supposed to mean? You over-tanned shoplifter.
Over-tanned shoplifter.
Over-tanned shoplifter.
Wonder what he said. Okay.
Jessica puts a stop to this. Both of you shut up. This isn't the time or the place to compare egos. We have to get back to the task at hand, namely finding our way to the top. Party in, ascend the stairs.
Let's go up the stairs.
On Sega CD, none of this Damon dialogue happens. It's a slog of throwing switches and fighting monsters to get to the top floor.
Oh.
Floor 2, you know what you do there?
Fight bad guys.
That's right. Play some fight music. Who'd you fight?
First bad guys I encountered were mummies.
Here come the mummies.
Yeah, I love when the mummies come.
Have you ever? Whoa. Yeah, that's been in there for a while. It's dust at that point.
Okay, 2 questions about the mummies.
Yeah.
Why do they spin like this?
Mummies spin. Have you ever watched like a horror movie? Is there a cereal mummy for Monster cereal? He spins around, right? Yummy Mummy, is that him? Did I make that up?
Yummy Mummy?
I think that's a Monster cereal. Along with Count Chocula and the Fruit Brute. They made a girl one recently. Fake Net is Yummy Mummy, a fucking Monster cereal.
Initializing fake net.
Count Chocula, Frankenberry, Boo Berry, Fruit Brute, and Yummy Mummy are the classic monster cereals. Carmella Creeper was introduced into the General Mills Monster Cereal universe in 2023.
Okay, well, that answers that. Question number 2, why do they look like hot dogs? The mummies look like hot dogs.
Have you ever unwrapped a mummy?
Well, these mummies are still wrapped.
Well, I got nothing. I don't know. You ever take toilet paper and mummy yourself? Or have someone mummy you? Like become a mummy?
Yeah.
You gonna do it tomorrow at your party?
No.
You can mummy some children? I'll bring the toilet... Actually, no, toilet paper, I'm pretty sure that's going to go extinct soon, so we'll have to...
I don't need it. Anyway, so... These things kind of just make me quiver. I mean, they're not a scrotal, but the way these things look, I kind of quiver a little bit. What's unique about the mummies, Eric?
Physical to 0 damage.
0 damage, Eric. Now, this is one of the first times when I started to notice that the auto battle in the new game works really well, and I press auto battle, and it will do the appropriate magic spells to kill the mummies.
Did it do that originally?
I feel like maybe, but also probably not, because it would just use your strongest attacks.
You know, I saw people in the real net talking about the auto battle for the new version, and then I'm done with this game. It occurred to me I never did auto battle once.
Really?
I never trusted it not to waste all my MP.
It wastes MP and items.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Especially my items, my precious silver lights.
Like, they'll be like one turn away from winning, and then somebody will use a fucking Angel's Tear to revive somebody. It's that egregious at times.
When Null would do it for free? No way.
Yes, exactly. Next, I've got Bat Knights.
Yeah, these are flying eyeball things in a night mask, Meta Knight looking ass.
I love the way these things look. Yeah, I also said that I think these are the best looking creatures in the game because they look like Meta Knight minions. And they've got 2 different distinct poses. Like the one pose, they'll charge their horn up. In the other pose, they will raise their, what do you call the Knight mask? The thing that goes over the helmet of the Knight.
A mask.
The eye guard, I don't know.
Sure.
It will raise up and you can see their little beady eyeballs. They look cool. I love these guys.
How about Kid Roller? What's that?
Kid Roller?
You didn't fight a Kid Roller, the Blue Cyclops buddies? They do Petro Gaze, which is probably a petrifying attack.
Kid Roller?
Kid Roller.
Kill Roller.
I didn't fight no Kid Roller. Hold on. It's not a Kid Roller, Eric. It's a kill
roller.
It's a kill roller. There
Sorry,
we go.
I've got old eyes now since I turned 41 9 months ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't gotten that far yet. Maybe I think we don't get to those until maybe the 3rd floor. So
oh yeah, I just did full all floor.
Let me get to him real quick. And I got one more enemy, Rufus.
Right, he has Dark Nation. You fight him at the top of the Shinra Tower.
Yes, he's got a monster dog.
Dark Nation.
Dark Nations is his dog's name?
That's correct, yeah.
I love that this guy's name is Rufus. He's my good buff demon boy, rise and grind, baby.
Purple ogre, red eyes, glowing blue horns.
Alex and Kyle are good at killing these things with their sword attacks.
Yes, that's their primary means of attack. On Sega CD, there's an exclusive enemy. It's called Pious Reaper. And speaking of Rufus, these guys look like those failed Sephiroth clones in Remake and Rebirth.
Oh, really?
Big robe guys. Most of the enemies here also move slow, which is convenient because I'm going to avoid fighting them because I'm afraid of what will happen.
Yes, that would be death.
Is that all for your enemy fights, Chris? Maybe we proceed with exploration.
I am ready to proceed to the Power of Friendship trials.
I step on all the red tiles and reach the exit door at the northeast corner, and Damon beams back in. To proceed further, you must demonstrate your mental fortitude by answering my question. People who rely entirely on force shall ultimately be destroyed by force. That's not a question, Chris. That's a statement.
Yes.
Kyle gets as mad as me. What? We can't use force. Jessica corrects him. Calm down, Kyle. If you listen for once, you know he didn't say that. Please continue, Damon. So Damon continues. Ahem, but the person who controls force can avoid it altogether. What controls force? Is it midichlorians, Chris?
Yes.
That's what I thought as well. This
Yes.
came out before Phantom Menace. What Kyle has the answer. Do you have his answer?
He says, what kind of game is this, old man? Even I know the answer to that one. Come on, Alex. Let me handle this.
Is this like the entire thing a question about trusting friends with answers? Is that what we're doing, is relying on, like, we must pick the right friend to answer correctly?
Yeah, that's why I refer to this as the power of friendship trial.
Yeah, right. Care Bears.
I do think this is like a really... I know that doesn't have a ton of mechanical payoff, but I think this is a really good...
There's something else to do.
Pace-breaking thing, character-building thing, party, like, camaraderie-building thing, because we got, like, I don't know how late in the game we are, but we got our full party relatively late in the game, at least late in the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have everybody together and having us have to make some decisions based on
Party interactions.
what we know about their personalities and stuff like that.
Jessica does not believe this is a question Kyle can answer.
Yes.
Nash steps forward and agrees. She's right, Alex. You can't place our fate in the hands of this brain-dead brigand. Kyle splits the party and gets in Nash's fucking face.
Yep.
Chris B. Kyle.
He says, "Don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong, Nash. Or you might get it cut off."
N.A.R.C tells us to calm down and we get a choice. Let's give Kyle a chance, or I have to go with Nash, who failed me last time.
Yeah.
Who'd you go with?
Let's give Kyle a chance.
Well, I went with Nash. You tell me what happens if you give Kyle a chance.
He says, "Ha, you see that, Nash? Us real men stick together." Okay, old man, are you ready for the answer? Here it comes. Yo! Kyle then backs up and charges at Damon. And he just bounces off of him because he's a fucking wizard, right?
He's probably also a hologram.
Also probably true. Damon says, "You are incorrect." There's a white flash on the screen and Kyle flies backward, landing on his back. Jessica says she can't say she's surprised. Are you starting to understand what Damon said about force? N.A.R says, let's hope he does. I don't think he'd survive smacking into that magic barrier again.
Or smacking.
One thing that is interesting about Kyle being an adult here is that if you do choose Kyle to answer the question and he runs into the magic barrier, he will go down to 1 HP.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. I think that's somewhat neat. There's some mechanical consequences for this. And also, I kind of like that in many of these question answering situations, there is almost an intuitive solution for every one of them.
As in, don't trust the person who claims they have the knowledge of it?
Yeah, and you also have some knowledge of like what each one of these people's personalities is. So if you were to really think about like who knows the most about the origin of the world in the last one, you'd probably pick Mia.
I don't know, like maybe the origin of, for that one. But this one, like Kyle knows about, Kyle's from the streets.
Kyle is from the streets, but he may have the street smarts, but he does not have the lore smarts. Kyle says, Jess, save the lecture until my hearing comes back, if it comes back. Nash says that he wouldn't mind seeing that spectacle again, but are we ready for the real answer? Jessica says, let's hear your guess, Nash. I guess that's probably where you come in. So what did you pick Nash?
I went with Nash, who replies, if one desires the right outcome, one must first make the right decision. As the proverb, which is what I call proverbs, go. And you, Alex, have made the right decision. Kyle tells Nash to quit babbling and just answer the stinking question.
Yeah?
Nash tells Kyle, calm down, barbarian. I can't answer a question if I don't take the time to think about it. Kyle demands Nash spit out the answer right this stinking second. Jessica demands Nash get over himself and answer the question. N.A.R tells Nash to hurry up. High pressure situation here, Chris.
Yeah.
Finally, Nash complies. All right. The answer, Damon, is skill. Skill controls force. Damon tells Nash, ding noise. And we may proceed. Damon disappears and Jessica can't believe this shit. Well, what do you know? He does know something. Most importantly, Chris, Mia is impressed.
Yes.
Nash handles the praise like an asshead. Thank you, Mia. But it was an easy question, at least for me anyway. Kyle tells Nash, you just got lucky, magic boy, and I guarantee it's going to run out soon. Did Kyle express envy and anger in yours, Chris?
Yes. After the initial banter, our conversations link up. If you pick the wrong one, then you get the right thing.
Wrong one, right thing. Floor 3.
Let's head there.
I flip a switch and move left. We pass by a Bluebeard guy who looks fine, but Mia observes that he's in a great deal of pain. Nash notes that he's clutching his stomach, and Nash assumes it's food poisoning.
This guy, he are sick.
This guy are sick.
Yeah.
That's true. Kyle replies, I haven't had that since the last time Jess whipped up a bunch of X-Lax cookies. Is the X-Lax referenced in your video game, Chris?
No, they changed it to laxative. Can you
Remove
please
the
go
brand
complain
name.
on Reddit about that as well?
I want my X-Lax cookies. Jessica maintains that she thought those were chocolate chunks. Chris, what kind of chocolate chunks have you blown out your ass?
All kinds of variety of chocolate chunks, right?
Chocolate flavored? Or like looks like chocolate? Actually, it all could look like a kind of chocolate you're into.
It especially occurs during like the second half of April in most years is when I'm blowing the most chocolate chunks out of my ass.
Why is that? Are you eating too much pollen?
No, because my birthday,
Easter candy.
My birthday's in the middle of April, and then Easter comes. So I eat some cupcakes or something on my birthday, and then I eat Easter candy and stuff when I go to my mom's house, and then I have a chocolate chunk
Chocolate
day.
chunks,
Yeah. So
in Harmony, Kyle bets the guy ate the stuff on the ground and got sick. So 3 different localizations, Chris. Which one's correct? Nash replies at the line that it does not make any sense. In my game, he says, the overpowering stench might have been your first clue. Kyle smiles and tells Nash how poop works and says that came later.
Did Nash think that Jessica served Kyle poop cookies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alex throws out the dots and Nash wonders what's wrong. Alex says nothing. Jessica says, let's leave this sick little conversation behind and get on with things. We'd better find out what's really wrong with the guy on the floor. The party approaches the poor man and Mia asks this sir if he's feeling ill. He replies with the same thing I tell all strangers when they attempt to talk to me.
It's nothing, I'm busy, go away?
That's correct.
All right.
Jessica tells him, well, excuse us for caring. Don't worry about this guy, Alex. If he says he's okay, then he must be okay, right? Besides, there's already a staircase. Let's go. Now, Chris, I've played RPGs. I'm a moral citizen. I know if the staircase is right there. The challenge is, do we help the sick man?
You've read the parable of the Good Samaritan, right?
Was Samaritan like Samaria a non-Christian nation? Is that actually like what like you weren't supposed to help the other religion guy?
I believe.
I know the parable, but I forget the actual.
I believe
origins.
from the perspective of the storyteller, Samaritans were others.
Okay, so help the other.
The point is that it doesn't matter that motherfucker's a Samaritan.
Mm-hmm.
It matters that he helped the guy.
Okay, so if I'm in Boston as a Lakers fan and I see like a Celtics fan puking his guts out, I'd be like, hey man, do you want to have some medicine in my pocket?
Yes. This guy
and you hand him a fifth of fucking whatever.
Yeah, and by the way, while we're at a non sequitur here, do we need to give a scrotal for the X-Lax? Yeah,
probably.
Okay. I saw John Doe. Thanks, John Doe. Good catch.
Check this out.
That's number 50, Eric. 50 scrotals in this video game thus far.
For my scrote, Jessica moves toward the stairs, but the man stops and asks Jessica a question. He asks Jessica if she's a priestess. Jessica tells him, well, only a priestess of the goddess Althena is allowed to wear these robes. You fucking idiot.
Yeah.
My dude has a change of mind. It's your job to help people in distress, isn't it? So use one of those healing spells they teach you, quick. But Jessica is angry and suspicious. She says, what are you babbling about? When Mia asked you a second ago, you said it was nothing. My guy replies, that was then, this is now. Let the healing spell fly. Sugar. So sugar, for me right here, would have DQ'd him immediately. Like, you don't get to demand and then call me a pet name, right?
Yeah. But he didn't say sugar tits, at least, so.
Yeah, it's okay. Jessica is suspicious, but not completely callous. Until I know the cause of your pain, I don't know what kind of magic to use. Please tell us what's wrong.
Is that true?
That's also not true. She has a healing hit point spell and a status ailment cure spell.
She has a regenerative spell, too, so maybe if you just, like, kind of... Like, I don't need a full heal when I get out of bed, but I might need a regen because my morning might be rough.
Immediately cast regen. My dude says his stomach just started hurting all of a sudden. Jessica thinks it's probably something he ate. She asks Alex what she should do. Help this guy out or get back to finding the next door and we get a choice. Let him learn his lesson or his pain seems real. Help him.
This seems like the lamest of all of the trials here because it's obvious.
Yeah.
Unless you're just thinking that this guy's going to deceive you. But I told him just to help him because that's why I've read the Bible.
How'd that go for you?
It went good. Oh, yeah, you didn't do it? You haven't read the Bible?
I have a story, but you, please.
Okay, well, anyway, I said his pain seems real. Help him. Alex says his pain seems genuine. Jessica, please help him. Jessica says, come on, Alex, this guy's a jerk. I tend not to want to help anyone who yells at me.
Yeah, totally.
I understand that. Null says, please, Jessica, Alex wouldn't have asked if he didn't think it was the right thing to do. Null should probably also understand that this is probably a trial because we're in the trial room, but, we're video game characters. We don't know everything. Jessica says, okay, you're right. I should help him regardless of his lack of social skills.
That's right. Decorum doesn't matter. People need help.
Yes. She then does a little heal incantation.
Does it play the heal sound effect?
It does. And the guy disappears.
Mm-mm.
The heal, he was undead. The heal killed him. Actually, actually, Damon appears. And he says, your actions were correct. You may proceed. Know that I am impressed with your performance thus far. Jessica says that she was not impressed by the last test, Damon. That wasn't fair. Then Jessica's sprite grows big. Like it mode 7's big.
Okay.
Yes, it scales big. And she starts yelling, I don't want to hear any excuses. I just want to tell you not to pull something like this again. Then she shrinks. This game loves inflation. Then she says, okay, let's go. Kyle says, Jess, your mood swings are more violent than a hurricane. She says, what'd you say? Kyle says nothing. Mia suggests that we move along.
Let's mosey.
Yeah, what happened here for you?
Oh, dear. So the way that I play this game is I'll play and then I set the controller on the couch while I type whatever just happened, then I pick it back up and play again.
Yeah.
When I picked it back up, I hit X on...
Don't help his ass?
I hit X on his let him learn his lesson, and Alex tells this fucker, let him learn his lesson. I mean, it's just a stomachache. Jessica escalates the malice. She says, yeah, for someone who needs our help, he's got a real attitude. Tough luck, chump. Maybe you should be a little nicer to your potential savior next time.
Wow.
Damon beams in, and he's not happy. He says, you fool. What kind of attitude is that for a priest to have? The blessings of the goddess Althena are meant for all living things. How dare you deem yourself capable of choosing who is and is not worthy of receiving your healing touch? Jessica, rather than ask for forgiveness, spits hot fire.
Oh, I love hot fire.
What? That is the stupidest test I've ever taken, Damon. No one's going to help someone who acts as rudely as that guy did to us. Damon says, but, and then Jessica's sprite grows to 4x its size and says, no buts about it. Now let us pass before I show you a real demonstration of rudeness. Do you have a problem with that? Damon says no and disappears. Jessica returns to normal size, and then she wonders, why are you guys looking at me like that? Come on, let's go. Kyle thinks that was a hard one. Mia remains the moral center of our group, saying, I feel guilty that we didn't help him. Am I the only one? Nash wants to impress Mia and says, not at all. I think Jessica needs to learn the value of humility. N.A.R. lives in objective reality. Who cares how we pass that test, Nash? Let's keep going. So this ability, first off, I also passed the test. There is no wrong answer there.
Okay.
Second, Jessica's ability to grow to 4 times the size will never be employed at other times in this game when you think it would be a critical component of achieving victory.
This is a very new thing. And it actually is kind of a funny thing to show like how her larger-than-life personality becomes even larger.
Yeah, are we supposed to interpret that literally as a metaphor?
I think it's metaphoric. It's
Okay.
like an anime metaphor.
I've not seen this anime metaphor.
You've seen anime. You know, like when you're animating, you're in your normal animation style, and something funny happens, and they both become like little chibi guys, and they jump around.
No, I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's when Megatron turns into the gun, he gets way smaller.
That's not what I was going for.
That's exactly what you're talking about. Metaphor refantasio Mega Man. Megatron.
Megatron
Mega Man?
literally turns into the Walther P-38. Did I say Walter?
You did. It's fine. I was going to let it go.
I was trying to say Walther, but you know. Anyway, however, when, I don't know, Monkey D. Luffy decides to be silly, in his face, his eyes turn into lines, and
then he turns into a gun.
It's just an expression of personality or quirk, not literally.
So you can't kill somebody with Luft Monkey, whatever that was? Luft Fusion?
Can we move on, please?
4th floor. It's a library. It's nice. A bunch of desks with open books, a vase with flowers. I get a spirit bandana from a chest, and a sage clothes from the previous floor.
Cool.
Ice pendant, bottom right chest. Lots of running around and stepping on tiles that open up doors on the complete opposite side of the screen.
Yeah, we failed to mention that before, but that is the puzzle of this level.
This floor. At the end of the door fest, we approach a white altar of sorts, and our pal Damon materializes. He says, if you wish to proceed further, you must make a decision. In making your way through the spire, who was the least helpful? He or she must admit their weakness and leave immediately.
I love this one.
In Harmony, Damon tells the gang he must take the weakest one as a prisoner.
Okay.
Kyle is sick of Damon's shit.
Yeah. So am I, for that matter. Kyle says, what the hell are you talking about? None of us are going anywhere, Damon.
I do kind of like the idea of a guy trying to test your moral fortitude and speaking in riddles, and our party going, we're not doing that. Just give me the fucking...
Just get the fuck out of here, dog. This is the best trial because the answer here is not obvious. I guess it's obvious, but not as obvious as maybe the other ones.
Damon issues an ultimatum.
Either you surrender your weakest member, or you shall all perish.
Jessica gets a little spicy.
Did I just mention how much I hate your guts, old man?
Nash gets us back on task.
This is a real problem, Alex. How are we going to decide which one of us leaves?
Mia looks like she's about to cry.
She says, we can't decide because none of us was the least helpful.
Kyle was the least helpful.
Kyle was the least helpful in terms of the trials. So he has used his sword to help us kill things, I think. But Mia says that we made it this far by working together, Alex. Power of friendship, etc. Null, however, says that's true, but I don't think Damon cares. So what are we going to do, Alex?
We then have to deny our team members as if we deny Christ. If you try and say it's Kyle, he'll say, Alex, you bastard. After all I've done, you're just throwing me away like an empty keg of beer. But I say Kyle can't. Do you have to, I forget, do you pick this and you have to like, can you decide, can you keep going none or can you actually pick some? Like, must you try to pick some?
I think you have to go none to proceed.
Right, but is none immediately available or must you try to execute people?
Oh, no, you have to go all through the entire thing. So
Okay.
I said Kyle can't leave. So
Right.
what'd you say?
If you try and say it's Kyle, he'll say, Alex, you bastard, after all I've done, you're just throwing me away like an empty beer keg.
Well, if you say that...
You have to return that for a deposit, Chris. You can't just throw away empty beer kegs.
That's true. It's very true. Then it proceeds to Jessica, and you can say, Jessica, don't be angry, or Jessica's not weak. I said Jessica's not weak.
Right. It can't be Mia. I won't give up Nash. I won't make anyone leave.
Yeah, then it can't be Mia. Okay, when it gets to Nash, it says, Nash, you have to go, or I won't give up Nash. Now, for content purposes, I decided that Nash has to go.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck Nash. Check this out, Nash. You're out of here.
Get out of here.
Alex says, with sad eyes, Nash, you have to go. Nash tells Alex he can't do that. If not for my answer, we would have never made it past the second floor.
It's true.
Damon says it will be impossible for you to overcome the obstacles ahead if you do not work together. Then, Damon summons 4 monsters.
Oh, no.
And this is my punishment for saying that Nash is useless.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't do that if you...
This is a great way to punish me for being dumb as hell.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that I'm no longer playing with an emulator, and I hope that I'm healed up. And I'm not. Nash only has 46 HP left. Alex only has 11 MP.
Fucking dumbass.
Also, for whatever... So it sends a Mummy, a Bat Knight, a Rufus, and a Kill Roller at me.
Full suite.
Full suite.
Full suite.
Although there's only one of each. It plays the boss music. But this is not a boss. So I was able to defeat these things.
When these things are called kill rollers, had the Killdozer event happened in time at this point?
I've never heard of the Killdozer.
You haven't heard about Killdozer?
No.
The guy, stole some kind of construction vehicle and covered it in bulletproof armor and then went on, a crime spree throughout some town, I think I'm going to say Colorado, just, going over buildings, and the police couldn't stop him because he was in the Killdozer.
Did not know about that.
Look it up. It's fascinating. I want to say it ended poorly.
After the battle, Damon says you said it yourself. Without your combined efforts, you would have never advanced this far into the spire. Now that you fully understand the importance of cooperation, you may proceed to the next floor.
The door cubes morph around and it magically opens with a unique sound effect. Jessica wonders if she's the only one who noticed how this old fart really enjoys messing with our heads. Kyle believes the old fart is really starting to tick me off.
She says in mine, I don't know if this is different in the
young fart,
the young fart, new fart, the remaster, or the
bonus fart,
or this is because I went a different path.
Delicious fart.
She says if this crusty old coot messes without minds, typo.
Great, excellent. They even created new typos.
One more time, I'm going to get really angry. I think this might be like a divergence in dialogue.
Yeah, it could be an alternate dialogue retained.
Kyle says, "You're not the only one, Jess. If I grind my teeth any harder, they're going to crack." Mia asks them to calm down. All that matters is that we can continue to the next floor.
Did you ever do a sleepover at a friend's house and they're making weird noises in the night and that's when you learn what teeth grinding is?
I feel like maybe I did.
Or you were the teeth grinder?
No, I don't think I was a teeth grinder.
Okay, it's what the fuck is that? Is Charles possessed?
That is when you learn about that people make noises when they sleep.
Yeah, people sleep differently than you. It's fucked up. Floor 5. Open the first door and Kyle notes that it is unusually peaceful on this floor. Nash isn't feeling any nearby magic, but he thinks Kyle is wise to be suspicious. Maybe the monsters ran away because they heard we were kicking butt and taking names. I step on another switch, and Null thinks Damon may have given up on the test because he knows we'll just pass them all. Mia thinks that would be nice, but we must stay alert until we reach the top. Nash reinforces Mia's belief system. We get to the next altar room, and there's a huge hunk of silver shit on the floor. A big half turd. In Silver Star Harmony, it looks like a fully formed golden turd. The gang surrounds the turd, and Kyle wonders if it's a big lump of clay. Jessica wonders what exactly we're supposed to do with it. Damon beams in. He tells us something that would make me quit the entire quest.
He says, "You will sculpt the clay into an image of what you consider to be a priceless treasure." Can we call this quest the treasure that cannot be stolen quest?
Yeah, totally. It's the same thing.
Except for you have to sculpt it.
Yeah, not steal it.
Yeah.
Because it can't be stilled. He continues, which is the worst part.
However, if your creation fails to impress me, you shan't be allowed to enter my private chamber.
We're just going to make a giant dick, right?
I would expect Kyle to do that. Jessica says this lump's too big for us to sculpt alone, so the 5 of us will have to work together.
Power of teamwork, Chris.
That's an interesting observation when you see a lump of clay, but okay.
We must... Chris, there's so much Play-Doh here, there's no way I can sculpt it on my own.
Yes, I guess that
Eat
could
some
happen.
of it so there's less.
Null wonders, hey, what about me? No one responds. Mia says, since we can't each make our own treasures, one of us will have to direct the others. Again, it's kind of contrived. Kyle says, I'm the resident brigand treasure expert, so I think the choice is obvious.
Jessica gets mad and tells Kyle that we all have to make the decision, and you just have us make something worthless anyway.
Probably true.
Nash tells the gang, indeed he would, whereas I live in Vane, the most beautiful city in the world, I'm bursting with precious artistic sensibility. Jessica says words that I don't understand.
Back off, Ego Angelo. Okay.
Did Michelangelo, the sculptor, have an ego? Is that what that is? Or is
No. Michelangelo did not, but Nash does, and he's about to do sculpting.
Oh, I see. All right.
That's how that
Clever.
works.
Yeah.
The last thing I need is you and Kyle to have a narcissism duel. I kind of like that term, though.
It's all right. We
should pretty good.
Incorporate that.
Well done. Victor, hold on. Thank you, Victor.
I mean, Working Designs is me pretty much because I wrote or edited every single game we did.
I tend to press that button when something fucked up's in the game.
We give him his props.
I wanted to give him his props. I appreciate that.
Mia decide who does it. Mia can't decide since we have no idea what will impress Damon. She thinks we should take turns guiding our sculpting efforts like a Ouija board. Null knew Mia was the smartest of us all and asked Alex who was going to be the first leader. I'm not going to write this shit down, but I picked Kyle and he makes a crowbar.
Yeah, I expected Kyle to make boobs.
No, he made, what did he call it in yours?
He called it a crowbar, but
he called it a jimmy in mine.
The one thing that Kyle shouts during the sculpting process is, Alex, you have to make that part bigger and longer.
Right, bigger and longer. The ladies always like it when it's that. Or some guys. Who can say?
Who can say?
Erections can be enjoyed by anyone.
Nash, that's too twisted, etc., etc. A little to the left, Mia. Come on, Null, we're almost done. Time for a snack break. Then the dick emerges. But yeah, he calls it a crowbar, although Jessica is afraid to guess what it actually is. Kyle tells Jess to get her mind out of the gutter.
So he did make a giant dick.
So he did. It's a crowbar, or what we in the trade commonly call a jimmy.
A jimmy.
Yeah. Do they really call that a jimmy?
I mean, I've seen jimmy used as a verb.
Yeah,
have you ever locked your keys in your car and you've got like the jimmy bar thing?
I need to jimmy up in this door.
And it got even weirder because there was that GMC truck for a while called the Jimmy.
Yeah. Now, Kyle's rationale for making the jimmy is that this baby can get you in and out of more places than any other single device. Jessica, of course, says once a thief, always a thief. I suppose I thought you were different.
If we were rich and could do like a big show in an auditorium, we should give out free jimmies.
Yes.
Jimmy's also a condom reference, right?
I'm not sure.
FakeNet, is Jimmy a condom metaphor?
Initializing FakeNet.
Yes, a condom can be referred to as a jimmy, especially in US slang. Other slang terms for condoms include rubber, prophylactic, French letter, and rubber johnny.
Kyle goes on to tell Jess that this thing really is a treasure. It can open even the most stubborn vaults. Jessica says you'll never learn, will you? Here we are in the bosom of knowledge. And then Kyle says, bosoms are good.
Kyle's thinking practically.
Bosoms are good, is what he says. Just to let you know. Anyway, Jessica says, can you focus for just a moment? Then Damon appears and says that we've done well, but not well enough to impress him. Redouble your efforts and try again. Then we go back through the whole goddamn thing again.
Did you have Jessica make something?
I had Nash make something next. Okay, Nash begins his direction and hollers at people to make his various sections more detailed. Wonders why Kyle isn't paying attention and tells Jessica she needs to use a lighter touch.
Too aggressive.
Of course.
Be more gentle. Don't squeeze so hard.
Of course, he tells Mia she's doing perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. He even suggests that maybe Null should let Mia do his work. When the thing comes out, what is it, Eric?
It's vain.
It's vain.
It's vain.
Damon says the sculpture is excellent, but if you wish to impress him, you must show the real treasure.
Well, Nash says there's nothing more important to me, which I actually believe. Because his whole identity is wrapped up in being the next vain boy.
That is true, but what is Nash's true treasure that cannot be stolen?
Mia, but
Yes.
that's not his treasure. Vain is.
That's true.
You can't treasure a person, Chris. Everybody knows that.
Yes. Kyle even calls this out. He's like, your treasure is Mia. What the fuck are you doing here, buddy? Ready to move on to Jessica's turn?
Sure.
Yeah. I think it would have been funny if Jessica would have made Plaster Mel and we had to fight him again.
That would have been really good. Like if she just makes her dad because her dad's the most important and it's the same Plaster Mel sprite.
Yeah. So anyway, Jessica gets on with it and Kyle suggests that she's going to make a teddy bear, but she ends up making an amulet of some sort.
I read it as the necklace her mom bought her for when she was a little girl.
Yes, that is what she explains it to be, but not before Kyle tells her that it looks like some kind of giant tapeworm.
So he said tapeworm in yours?
Yes.
Do you know what he said in mine? You'll never guess this, but it's pretty bad.
Thong?
Kyle asks if it's a giant IUD.
Are you fucking serious?
That's what I wrote down.
Check this out.
That's 51.
Tapeworm.
Wow, I would have never... Again, everybody go to Reddit and complain they changed IUD to tapeworm.
What would you rather have inside you, Chris? An IUD or a tapeworm?
Shit, dude. I mean, I am not anatomically predisposed to accept an IUD.
But humans can accept tapeworms. That's true.
So, well, I guess a tapeworm.
Yeah, give me the tapeworm.
Anyway, it's a necklace, obviously. Okay, this makes way more sense that it's an IUD, that you said IUD, because her response to tapeworm is get your mind out of the gutter. And I'm like, is tapeworm some sort of sex thing?
Yeah, so that's another where they just changed one word and didn't really care to like change the rest of it.
Yeah. Okay, you want to give Mia a turn, Eric?
Yeah, she does a Gorgon Ghidra, which I think is a stuffed animal in her room.
Yes, she makes a Gorgon, which I think is funny. Now, I think what's interesting about Mia's section here is that, like, I think we could have guessed what Kyle would have made. We could have guessed what Nash would make. We could probably guess what Jessica would make. But, like, Mia, is she the most underdeveloped character so far? Is there any...
All we know about her is she's gentle, she has a lot to live up to, she has no self-confidence, and she doesn't seem to realize Nash likes her.
Wasn't the thing from our Xenosaga podcast about, like, does this character have any... Do they want anything? Desire anything? Are they a character? Is Mia a character? Because, like, she made the fucking teddy bear.
The things you can tell if someone is a well-developed character or not.
Yes, I don't think Mia is a well-developed character now. I think
she made depression.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, making a stuffed animal, it kind of is like making depression, right?
That wasn't a joke.
Okay, well done. But yeah, it's a Gorgon. They're so cute and fluffy. She loves the little Gorgon Ghidra. The most adorable thing she's ever seen.
That's lovely. Can we move on to what Alex makes with Null's direction?
Yeah, a special boy of destiny will absolutely have the ability to craft the treasure that cannot be stolen.
What's that?
Is that what it is?
Uh-huh. It's a sculpture of Luna, which everyone thinks is Althena. Weird.
Huh.
Damon tells us, this is indeed a beautiful treasure. You have passed the final test. The fucking altar morphs and Damon disappears. Null says the obvious. He was trying to make a statue of Luna, but everyone thinks it's the goddess. Weird. I ascend the staircase to floor 6 library. Bookshelves are everywhere. Shit all over the place. A messy Damon desk. Damon speaks. You needn't explain why you have come. Here is the book you seek, and we get the Thieves' Guide. Null can read, but he asks Damon to. The Way of Thieves, will you read us a few pages, Damon? To my surprise, Damon actually does. He says, Rule 1, always be careful. Rule 2, don't get caught. Rule 3, see rules 1 and 2.
Good.
Kyle can't believe this shit. He wonders how that's going to help anyone be a thief. He thinks it might be time for him to write a book. Damon asks Alex if he's still pursuing the way of the Dragon Master. Alex says yes, and Damon is like, of course, son. You have the green eyes. I believe it will be in your best interest to read all the books in my spire. You must work diligently to absorb all the generations of knowledge amassed within them. I shall remove the magic seals that prevent them from being read by those who have not impressed me. Nash steps forward and offers a shit sandwich. It is an honor to be allowed into your library, Lord Damon. But Damon, rather than tell Nash to go to hell, just says, thank you, Nash, but you have earned your access to these tomes. Besides, knowledge is meaningless if it is not shared with others, and even that knowledge is difficult to accept. You will learn this to be true, Alex. You must prepare yourself for it. Alex, our boy of many words, throws dots. But Damon continues. You should return this book to the Thieves Guild quickly, Alex. Your time is increasingly precious. So, mixed messages here. He wants Alex to stay here and read all these books he's just unsealed, but we have to get this fucking book back to the Thieves Guild.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you know what's nice about the books in the world of Lunar?
You can just not read them.
They're like 2 pages long.
98-point font.
We can just read them. You want to read the books?
It says my time is increasingly precious, so absolutely. Yeah.
My time is not precious, so I will read all the books in this library. I read the bottom right bookshelf. It says, the evil which infected the Blue Star now rears its misshapen head in our serene world. And this evil would delight in once more annihilating the children of Althena. What's that supposed to mean? I don't get that. The goddess has tried to destroy this great evil, but cannot. As long as human hearts hold darkness in their hearts, it will always survive.
As long as human hearts hold darkness in their hearts. A beautiful sentence.
They do. The next book is The Prophecies of Damon. Dragon Master Dine set into motion the series of events that would decide the fate of the world, but that fate will rest in the hands of Dine's successor, a young man with the power of love on his side. Damon wrote a book about me, Alex, already.
He's a prophet.
Yes, true. Next book, The Prophecies of Damon. Tiny Angels with Gossamer? Gossamer?
Yeah, Gossamer, among many things, is a Smashing Pumpkin song that was only recorded live, and the name of that Looney Tune with no arms, the big red thing, that's Gossamer.
Okay. Tiny angels with gossamer wings frolic around a shimmering spring. Huh?
We're rhyming, Chris.
That's what it says. That's all it says. More prophecies of Damon. The power of the dragons will be lost, but hope shall be found within the shining blue star. Is that a reference to the second game?
I mean, they mentioned the blue star a whole lot.
Yeah.
Various metaphors, riddles, things of that nature.
More prophecies. The world will shudder and the sky will darken when magic meets metal. Many innocents will be slain. It's a dark prophecy. The end of one adventure is also the beginning of the next.
That's true, Chris. We call it the end of a season here at Retrograde Amnesia.
Yes. History becomes legend, and dreams become reality.
In your dreams, magical dreams?
In your dreams, magical thoughts.
Magical thoughts.
Magical thoughts.
All things are real unless you dream they're not. Did you speak with Damon before you left?
He says, I have lived for a very long time, but there is much in this world I have yet to fully understand. Mia tells Damon he's the keeper of this world's knowledge. She wonders how much there is left for him to know, and he replies, many things, child. So very many things, but especially people. I finally isolated myself here because I found myself so very frustrated with human behavior. Chris, have you ever wanted to break from life and the obligations and people so you can just play more video games? You want to build your own Damon Tower?
Oh, man. I don't even need a Damon Tower. I just need a Damon basement.
I was going to say, Dad usually retreats to the garage to tinker with junk.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my dadhood, I retreat to the basement to tinker with junk.
That's where we're at now.
But I need it to be more isolated. I need, like, more soundproofing.
Mm-hmm. There's already a significant amount, yeah.
It doesn't work.
Should put metal in the walls.
I got noise-canceling headphones.
Damon continues, I wonder if your plan to trade the book I gave you for the White Dragon Wings is wise. Null's reply makes no sense. He says, I don't care what Damon says. He does know everything.
Doesn't make any sense.
On Sega CD, Damon exists as a player that Zenobia's next target is a girl named Lily and Reza. He also tells Alex he should become a Dragon Master, which is brand new information.
Thanks, buddy.
Nintendo Complete read some of the books, and one says, video games will rot the minds of all they enslave, which I immediately skeeted to our Blue Sky account.
Oh, good.
And that is all for Damon's Tower. Surely this Keeper of Knowledge will return here and consult with him many times about events happening in the world.
I sure hope so. Overall, I'm disappointed in Damon's lore tower.
Yeah.
Not enough lore. What did we learn?
Friendship shit.
Magic.
Friendship is magic.
Friendship.
Magic is still the
Don't sell out your friends. Trust everybody.
Should have been a little bit more knowledge about the blue star there, I think.
They could have. This is also some advice from Chaos and Xenosaga where people just have things that they do well.
Oh, that's a good point. I did not think that Lunar would have such commonalities with Xenosaga.
What is Lake if not Captain Matthews?
Ho, ho, ho.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to ho, ho, ho to the RealNet?
Homie up.
Initializing RealNet.
Hello, RealNet. Thanks for joining us on this morning edition of Retrograde Amnesia. Mel says, I've only been plastered once in my life, for the record.
Mel in the RealNet, not Hell Mel.
Yes. Well, Hell Mel is in the RealNet, but a different Hell Mel.
Plastered meaning like excessively fucked up?
Yes. Yes, I think so.
To be rendered as plaster.
Shy Guy 32 says, I will continue to incept Phantasy Star 4 into polls until my demands are met.
Shy Guy 32 is the longtime champion of Phantasy Star 4.
Yeah, Shy Guy 32 has been playing the long... I think Shy Guy might be a Phantasy Star 4 scenario guy. Like, this is all part of the plan.
Oh, yeah, eventually.
Yes.
I mean, anyone who can champion Genesis RPGs, the few that there are, is fighting the good fight.
Azel says, milkmaids are born of the milk, live for the milk.
That's kind of like me. I drink milk every day. It's delicious. Excellent source of protein. My milkmaid?
Cal L says, clearly not censoring Nash is woke. Fruity, yummy mummy. You were right. Okay.
Like, I think there were originally 3 monster cereals, but they've been expanded. Like, I don't know if Count Chocula was originally part of the monster cereal because he's a year-round cereal, right?
I think Count Chocola's a year-round cereal now, I think.
I mean, he always has been. Like, that's why I don't think it was fair for him to be included in monster cereal.
Oh, interesting. Nervous says, once saw a horrible New Zealand sketch show called Pooh Man and Wheeze, where toilet-themed superheroes fought a mummy covered in shitty toilet paper.
That sounds about what I would expect from a New Zealand sketch show.
That's more harrowing than the mummies in this video game.
There was a really good Australian sketch show that came out on Netflix a couple of years ago. Like, it really fucking impressed me. Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun. That's right.
Oh, good.
I understand New Zealand and Australia are separate places, but that one to me got 3 very strange-looking men to make a sketch show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Hellmel says, has any counter gotten to 50 before? Absolutely not. Not even fucking close. I don't even think anything got above like 25.
Yeah, 10, 15. So much scrote floating around here.
John Doe says, it would be so good if the mechanical payoff for the healing trial was that Jessica, unremarked upon, gains access to an attack self-buff spell in battle where she hulks out.
Yeah, give me an actual reward where you can intimidate the enemies to run away. Like that would give Jessica like the one offensive magic spell. Did it cost you MP when she healed the guy in yours? Do you remember?
I didn't check. Nobody can believe this shit with the IUD comments. You're right. I never would have guessed it. Never.
I mean, honestly, that one is so far beyond the bounds of acceptable taste. I kind of have to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what fucking child playing this game? Well, I mean, I don't know. Sex education it existed. But I don't think I knew what an IUD was at that point. Like, I don't think that had made it into our school text. And it's not like going to be among the things you joke about with your friends.
Yeah,
right?
That's very strange. John Doe says, I kind of wish Eric had read these books because I want to know if that book about darkness that infected the Blue Star is new to the remake because I don't think that this game actually covers that plot point.
You know, what's funny, I didn't actually read that, but I was looking at it while you were talking, but I clicked off. There's a link to those books in Harmony that someone transcribed Lunar threads. It is Alex Geetz. Yeah, and at least in Harmony, there's references to the people, the Blue Star, protect and cherish the shining Blue Star.
Yeah.
Destroyed even the great, but yeah, there's a lot of prophecies.
The
hope of mankind shall be found within the shining Blue Star was
okay.
at least in Harmony.
Okay. Well, it should be said that like the inclusion of stuff from the remaster was not in the plans originally. It just had the timing of us getting a little behind in our podcast buffer zone allowed this to happen. So God works in mysterious ways. Thank you, Real Ned, for joining us on this episode of Retrograde Amnesia. We'll see you next time.
Althena works in mysterious ways, Chris.
Althena's God, I guess. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. This episode is a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on May 2nd, 2025. Thank you, Mark
Shepard,
for the intro music.
Hey, it was my pleasure, but I gotta say, I kind of feel like maybe I'm about due, I don't know, all expense paid trip to a salad bar or something?
You can find us on Blue Sky and or YouTube at Retrograde Amnesia. Email us at podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com. And if you like us, well, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam and get ad-free, early access, bonus episodes, miniseries, live streams, and of course, voting rights for all of our future mini and full seasons, which tends to be one of our most celebrated events in the community, where we get a lot of engagement from what people want to hear next, and for that, we appreciate it. Eric, until next time.
Jurassic Park.
And now, you may hold on to your butts. Have big dreams.
I make regular coffee and pour that on top of it. So we're getting like 400 MIGs up in here.
Oh, good. Russian jets.
Actually, yeah.
You know why I know that?
You've played an air combat game? You've seen Top Gun?
Command and Conquer Red Alert.
Good enough.
I was finishing up work this morning and I said, I'll be back later and stuff. And then I got another message, but right before he got here, and I was like, fuck. And I looked at it and it was, hey, you got the Expedition 33 yet? So
I did buy it.
I didn't respond.
It's on back order.
I played about 4 hours of it. It's fucking good, dude.
Yeah, I think I'm in the last part of Metaphor, so I may actually be able to permit myself to play it by the time it shows up.
It's a miracle, I think. The people who made it have to be so talented. Because I looked at all their Moby Games shit, and it's basically they worked on like Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed, and then they left Ubisoft.
Are they French or French Canadian? I think they're like French-ass French, right?
I think they're French-ass French. I think it's Montpellier is where they are. Montpellier? Did I say that right?
Montpellier? Versailles?
That's France, right? I could be completely wrong. It's early. I don't know. Fucking know. Anyway.
Mount Pillar? Lion? I'm out of French towns. That's a game. I ain't no town, man.
It's a town game. It's Castle Town.
It's Castletown, Jack.
All right, well.
Mount Pillar.
Mount Pillar. It's the pillar of the Sermon on the Mount.
From Bakersfield, California.
The David Cross joke.
Yes, it is.
Right.
The redneck voice segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from I like when he did the I can't do a Brooklyn accent, but he did a Brooklyn accent. He's like, I'm from El Paso, Texas. What are you talking about? All right, everybody. Well, let's record a podcast. How about it? Won't you say? Won't you say? Which one you want to win, Eric?
Oh, I don't care.
I don't care either. I'm excited for either one, and I'm actually very excited for Phantasy Star 4 if it wins, because so many people in this community have been clamoring for it. So,
That's how it goes. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get in here because this gives you this.
Damon tells me, is she correct?
It wastes MP and magic. I'm sorry. Ush. Billowing, is that a word?
Billowing is what smoke does when you contain it.
Okay, then what's where I'm looking for? There's a flash.
Bouncing?
Huh?
Bouncing?
Bouncing backwards? There was some word that was coming in my head and it didn't work. So
I hate when the cum gets up to my head.
Yeah. Anyway, I did something nice for my kid yesterday and I said, all right, look, can I get one of your pieces of your Easter candy?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you can have this one.
What did he give you? Fucking Starburst?
I said, thanks. As I walk away, he goes, it's melted.
Hell yeah. That's good.
Chocolate chunks. Owned. Anyway. Hi, Kirby. That's fun. Bye, guys. Have a good day. See ya.
What's up, dog?
Kirby's in the room. All right, Kirby, you lay down and record the podcast, okay? All right. And I got too many drinks on my fucking table, man, so it's like it's a crowbar, or what we call in the trade commonly, well, anyway, Nash, it's Nash's turn, and
Kyle asks, is it... On Sega CD, I read some of the...
Impressive, Snake.
Yeah! War brings out the cruelty of man. No matter how the soldier was brought up, they all turn into animals when they're thrust into the heat of combat.
What is that knowledge, Chris? N.A.R. procures it.
What?
The words that greeted me as soon as I walked in the building.
Okay,
I can read them.
I went too far. Go ahead.
It's a wizard.
Well, they didn't...
Pornography.
They didn't wipe... I'm play some fight music? I'll play some fight music.
No.
Does that distract you?
It does.
Okay. Why does that distract you? I'm just curious about how your psychology works.
Any situation where I have to talk over something else, like the music enters my head and my brain wants to listen to the thing.
Oh.
But while I'm talking or like trying to listen to you, like I will in tune to the music.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Like whenever I talk to someone in my car, I always pause the music or turn it like way the fuck down.
That's really interesting because it has the opposite effect on me. Like I can't deal if I hear somebody fucking walk up the stairs. I can't deal with that.
It's weird.
Or if somebody puts something on the table or something, that gets me. But the music, it settles me.
Wow.
Anyway,
settling music, human psychology, big brains.
I'm gonna turn the music off. Okay, so let me get to him real quick.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, one thing that's interesting about Kyle being adult here is that if you do choose Kyle to proceed here,
Kyle tells Nash to quit babbling and just can't answer. We'd better find out what's really wrong.
Wait, no, man, this isn't over yet.
Mm-hmm.
I tend not to want you to help anyone, or I tend not.
Jessica, I'm breathing very quickly because I'm highly caffeinated.
And then it goes to, hold on 1 second.
He continues.
Oh, he might have called it a Jimmy man. Hang on. Yeah, of course. The Special Boy of Destiny cannot, I read the bottom left bookshelf. I'm sorry. I read the, yeah, we're, yeah. The dog still in here? Oh,
yeah, the dog's still in here. So blue, let me control F that.
Playtime's over!